Ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2023. Our next panel is to discuss all about the FIA and iRacing partnership and also about the UK FIA F4 Esports Championship. I can't do this on my own, I've got three very special guests. So the FIA Esports Project Officer, we've got Eric Stranner from iRacing, the Director of Racing Operations, Greg West, and UK Motorsport Esports Manager, Paul Crawford. First of all, I guess the first thing would be to do is introduce yourselves and let us know what you do.
Yeah, so hi everyone. Like I said, my name is Eric Stranner. I work as the project officer at the FIA for Esports. Been there for the last 3.5 years, and basically I work on the sporting side, so all of the day-to-day activities that it comes to esports at the FIA, so FIA Motorsport Games, Olympic Esports Series, partnership with iRacing, working with all of our member clubs, like Paul, for example. That's basically my day-to-day activity.
And my mic's, it is on. Hi, hey everybody. My name is Greg West. I'm a Director of Racing Operations at iRacing. It's a really broad title because we do a little bit of everything. Everybody at iRacing does. But I oversee our just day-to-day racing, looking at our feedback from the community, everything from that to helping develop cars, working with physics, working with the graphics folks, all of development. So a little bit of everything. It's kind of the dream job.
Hello everyone. So I'm Paul Crawford, Esports Manager at Motorsport UK. So I started there in January last year, and at that point Motorsport UK did nothing within esports, and since then we've tried to bring esports and sim racing into Motorsport UK and treat it like any other motorsport discipline. So anything to do with esports with the Motorsport UK has come from me and with the team that I work with, and like Greg said, it's kind of a dream job for myself as well because I've always raced in sim racing.
I guess the best place to start then is from the beginning. What is an ASN and how can sim racers get involved?
So basically an ASN is our version of a national sporting federation that we have. We have 147 in 147 different countries around the world. So for example, Motorsport UK, we have the DMSB here in Germany, Asetek in Italy, for example. So they're all tasked with organizing, running, sanctioning their own motorsport activities on a national level. And many of these already run esports competitions. Like I said, it's part of my job to kind of try and help them to develop and see what we can do to help them develop their own esports activities. But like I said, a lot of them already have esports ongoing. So we have a partnership with iRacing, which we'll get to in just a second, to help drive that. I mean, we have on FIA.com/members, there's a list of all the single ASNs around the world where you can get a link to each and everyone and see what they're doing if they're active within esports.
Perfect. Well, how did the collaboration between the three of you begin? So basically, about 3 years ago, I think it was, we had a bit of a request internally to what could we do with the Formula 4 brand? Formula 4 is something that we run, we own that IP, and we wanted the single-seater commission that we have at the FIA. We're curious to see what can we do to get more visibility for Formula 4. So the request came through to myself and saying, what can we do with sim racing? That would be quite cool to do something. So we started talking with Greg and iRacing to see what we could do, because really the purpose was to get more people to see the Formula 4 brand, and also how to show that we could also be doing something within sim racing. So it was a brand visibility kind of initiative from the very beginning, and then it took off from there, to say so. Nice. So Greg, how is iRacing specifically helping ASN growth?
Well, the big thing with iRacing and this partnership with the F4 was to develop a program that could be used worldwide with as few barriers as possible. With branding, that's very difficult. So it started with the actual building of the F4 car. You notice there is not a brand on it. F4 around the world uses a variety of different chassis and different engine combinations, and it was important to us and the FIA to make sure that it was as inclusive of a program as possible. And for that reason, we've combined a chassis, which is a laser scan chassis, with a different engine builder, and so we represent F4 on a global scale to the rules, but we're not tied to a single brand, and that brings the barrier to entry from partners getting involved to the lowest level possible. Regarding how we're working with the FIA to grow the community and to give more opportunity to get involved, working with Eric, we've developed a program that is scalable across over 140 ASNs, where we're giving each ASN 2,000 free membership codes. We're giving 1 year of iRacing for new members, 2,000 codes for that, and that includes the F4 to over 140 ASNs. That's a commitment of over $38 million with nothing but a handshake between us and the FIA. our goal for 2024 and beyond is to grow the communities, grow the regions. That's why we all got involved in racing in the first place, is because we maybe don't have the ability to go out and afford a race car itself, but we can grow the community from a grassroots level, and that was iRacing's goal, which we found out was the same goal with for the FIA with the F4 program. And once we realized that we had the same goal, we started working together on it, and now we have this.
Nice one. So to you, Paul, how did you manage to leverage the partnership with iRacing and the FIA?
So the partnership started with conversations with Greg before the FIA partnership came along. We run the British F4 Championship in the real world in the UK, and it was kind of a natural process to talk to iRacing with the IR04 car as it was back then, and a number of UK circuits on the platform, as well as Alton Park being one of the free or included circuits with the membership. So we started discussions and decided that we could do a official British F4 Esports Championship, and like Eric said, that the F4 brand is licensed by the FIA, so we then had discussions with Eric to make it all official and licensed correctly. And then really we invited the best teams from around the world. We're not just open to UK drivers, and we created a really good package at the end of last year. We're currently in season 2 now, but really where we've gone from there is we've started to develop a feeder series for the F4 Championship, because we don't just want to be seen as elitist and only after professional racing drivers or sim racing drivers. So we implemented, using the FF1600 car, a support series or feeder series into F4, where if you're not involved with a professional esports team, you can come and race in the championship, and if you win or in the top 2 of that championship, you get a free entry into the British F4 Esports Championship the following year. And then, of course, with the amazing offer that iRacing worked out with the FIA to give away free 12-month memberships to new members of iRacing, we've obviously now incorporated that into us. So if you visit our website, you can get access to that. And again, that includes the F4 car, so you can get straight in it, start racing on the UK circuits that's involved or included in the membership. So it's been really quick and really great.
Yeah, that's what I like about the iRacing series specifically, is because consistent drivers get rewarded. They get to stay in championships, but also there's a contender series for the big series, and it gives anyone an opportunity to get involved. But talking about the future, what does the future hold for this partnership?
Well, we've been growing this program little by little. Things take time, and we understand that. So we started off just by having the regular fixed setup racing F4 series open setups, and of course that's incredibly popular. And once we incorporated the FIA branding and officially unveiled it as the F4 car, it exploded. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day that Skippies were having trouble getting entries, because everybody's driving the F4 car these days. This season, starting in September, we kicked off a unique project with the FIA, with the FIA Esports Regional Tours. So what we have is 4 different series that are representing 4 different areas around the world, running circuits that are regionally specific, or that make sense for those reasons. For instance, Asia Pacific spends a lot of time in Australia and in Japan. The Americas covers all the Americas, and we've divided Europe. We have Northern Europe and Southern Europe. Not only do the series run tracks that are specific to that region, we've also put times. So it's running in prime time on Wednesdays and Thursday nights. You can race in a regional race with people around you. It's almost like club racing at the FIA level. And this is just a taste. We want to grow this more. As we grow and Eric can speak more to this, but our goal is to grow each ASN into having a national level championship. Now, and this is over multiple years, but if we get more ASNs involved in having these national level championships, that organically grows into the regional level championships, and so on and so forth. And now we have an ecosystem that may mirror that of the open wheel circuits, like F4 goes into F3, goes into F2, goes into F1, right? Unless you're Red Bull and you just pick from wherever. But we would like to grow something like that, an organic ladder. But the first thing you have to do to build a community is you got to have people. And that's why we're giving away all these free memberships through the ASN, and Eric can speak more to that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of our goal as well, because as part of our new presidential
delegation and new presidential team, we want to double motorsport participation, not just traditional motorsport with real race cars, through esports as well, through sim racing, because we see that as an actual form of motorsport. So doing this with Greg and with iRacing and with all the single clubs that we have, I think we have 6 national Formula 4 esports championships ongoing now, plus another 4 or 5 that are being developed. I mean, that's kind of what we want to do, is we want to see how we can get more people involved in motorsport, and through my side, that's doing it through sim racing. On top of that, what we want to do is, as a governing body, as a sporting institution, currently we don't really have an easy way to sanction any esports events. We don't have a regulatory framework to actually go in and have stewards and have officials. That's hopefully changing very, very soon during the course of next year, so that we can start having actual FIA-sanctioned esports competitions. So that's going to be a big game changer, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Let's get you involved here. Paul, how did your role begin within the Motorsport UK and the esports, and how is it growing?
Yeah, so I came in because our CEO, Hugh, and the chairman, David Richards, are actually big fans of esports generally. They're aware that it's important for the future, and Motorsport UK weren't doing anything with esports or sim racing at all. I think they did a couple of events in lockdown, like a lot of people, and they want to develop it as a credible, lower barrier to entry form of motorsport. So we are treating it in that sense. We're setting up an esports committee with loads of different people from around the industry to come and talk about the big issues and problems and ways that we can move it forward, and really to bring credibility to the sport. Everybody here loves sim racing, but we want it to be on the same level as other sports and championships. So with the British F4 Esports Championship, it is a fully sanctioned British championship. So that means that the winner of the championship goes to the Night of Champions, where all of the British champions from all of the different disciplines of motorsport go and pick up their British Championship trophy. So to put it on the same level as the other motorsports is really something that we're trying to do, and working with the FIA and obviously the support of iRacing and helping us with the product. It's developed really quickly. From January last year we did nothing, and now we obviously are in second season of a sanctioned British Championship with a support series, feeder series, which we want to develop further and go further down and look at younger age groups, which comes with other constraints. So it's growing rapidly, and we just want to keep it growing and set standards. So like Eric was saying, we want to help the other ASNs around the world with what they're doing, because we're aware that we're quite developed in the space, certainly compared to other countries. So through the Esports Commission that the FIA have, we really want to grow the sport.
And what's really cool about what Motorsport UK has done is they didn't try to do too much too soon. They leveraged the partnership in, I think, a really strategic way. And that's something that the ASNs that are growing, that they're starting brand new champions. We have great discussions with, for instance, the Bahamas. We've been having conversations the last 2 days. They're interested in growing something from nothing. And we've been talking about best practices, whether it's getting hardware in the hands of the participants, or what is the strategy to grow a sustainable championship. I'm like, well, we're giving you a bunch of free memberships. We're giving you a car for free. And there's 22 free tracks on iRacing. The worst thing you can do is then start a championship with 10 paid tracks. Run it on free tracks. Run free car, free tracks. You'll get people to participate. And Paul in Motorsport UK heeded that advice. And next thing you know, they go from having a single championship to so much interest that they have multiple championships running, a feeder series, a healthy pro series, and that is how you grow it. Start off simple, start off easy, focus on the broadcast and putting on a heck of a show, and grow from there. And that's reinvesting in your own brand, and that's how you're going to grow the community.
Yeah, I was going to say the next step, obviously you're giving away free memberships and the car, and then making it so it's accessible for everybody. How can you continue to support those communities to keep the longevity?
Well, I think the biggest thing they can do is it's communication, and it's events like this. The biggest thing these ASNs can do is, first off, communicate with Eric. Eric's point person on all of this, and he has a load of experience and connections to help with a variety of things. A lot of these startup ASNs don't know the resources that are available to them, whether it's connecting with broadcasters like RaceSpot or the best way to manage a league. We have a lot of ASNs that have reached out that have never even started a league. They don't know. They have the want to, they have the staff in place, but they don't know where square one is. The most important thing we can do is foster an environment that we help get people on track making race car noises. If people are happy when they're on track making race car noises, and if the more people that are happy, the more people that are going to participate, the more people that participate, these are going to organically grow. And that's what you want. You can't force it. It's got to happen organically.
Yeah, and also on top of that, I think, what we want to do is, like I said, we want to help nurture the community. The three of us are all sim racers. Me and Paul used to race together online 10 years ago. So, we've known each other for a long time. Well, we tried to race. We did our best.
Hey, racing for 10th is still a race.
If only it was 10th. We're all sim racers. We want to help sim racing grow. And so, for example, we have a really cool project going on in Brazil in just a couple of weeks, which will be a regional competition for all of Brazil on iRacing using the Formula 4 car, where, again, we help the Brazilian Federation because we're not really sure where to start. So let's get in touch with them. Let's get in touch with someone like RaceBot through Greg. What can we do in terms of putting on an event? So before the Brazilian Grand Prix, we're going to have a regional competition on the Thursday in Sao Paulo.
Obviously, spearheading UK esports in the motorsport industry. Have you got any advice to any of the other ASNs and how they can enhance their growth?
Yeah, I think we kind of touched on it before, but it's the product and everything you need to get started is already there, and it's pretty inexpensive to get started. It's really simple to set up a race on iRacing. You just move some sliders and you set it off going. Like we said, once you've got a membership, there's plenty of content included within that, so lots of people can get involved. And it's just like Greg was saying earlier, it's like just start, and then you'll learn as you go. Don't try and set something up so it's perfect and amazing and massive to start with, because you don't know. What if you're not doing something already, you don't know what everybody's interested in your area. So just start going with the products and the services that are out there. Use Eric, use Greg. Like we said, Greg will put you in contact with the right people in terms of broadcasting, and there's lots of tools to manage events and championships that are very inexpensive. Your Discords and things like that, they're free to use, and you can just get started and grow, because people will be interested. There's people all around the world who do sim racing, and there's certainly a lot of people who want to be racing drivers who can't necessarily afford to do it in the real world, and this is the next best thing.
Keep it simple. He absolutely hit the nail on the head. Keep it simple. If you keep it simple early, it will grow, and you'll have the opportunity to do a lot more.
Yeah, so 5 years' time, we're all sat in the same seats. What do you expect, and where do you expect to be with this partnership?
You take that one, buddy.
Oh, thanks for that. In 5 years' time, I think a lot can happen. I think we have a ton of potential of what we can do. Again, as a sanctioning body, a global sanctioning body, I think we can do a lot when it comes to helping structure an industry right now, which, especially on the sporting side, is quite diluted and quite a little bit everywhere, if you know what I mean. So, I hope that our end goal, it's no secret, we want to have an Sim Racing World Championship, FIA SimRacing World Championship. That's the end target. So, hopefully within a couple of years, once we have the structure, once we have federations like Paul, once we have all of you guys racing with your respective federations, that's when we get in touch and we can actually start developing things on a proper level.
Well, last question. I'm going to go to you. Everyone wants to know, when's rain coming?
Soon.
And I've got a more important question for you. When's Sugo coming? I want Sugo.
Not as soon.
Oh, no.
Rain is hard. Rain has been a very interesting experience. We've learned a lot about our own systems developing Rain. Rain is incredibly difficult if you're going to do it right. I think sim racers are going to be very surprised when they try Rain on iRacing for the first time. I also think sim racers are going to be very frustrated because sim racers have learned how to drive in fake rain, not real rain. Real race car drivers know how to go out there and offline braking, staying away from the rubbered in areas that are greasy, stay off the paint. Trust me, learn that one the hard way. We've worked a lot recently. We just updated our off-track surfaces because our off-track surfaces are interacting with the water content. So if it was as slick as it was, you were never going to stop if you went off the track. There's a lot of what I call not sexy work that has to go in to making this system work as well as it does. But luckily, we've had the infrastructure in place for a long time to make it work really well. One of the great things about using laser scan tracks from the beginning is we already know where all the puddles are in the real world. They're already there. as long as gravity works, you know where the puddles are. That's going to make it a really interesting driver training tool as well, because you're going to have the opportunity to go to some of these tracks and see what it's really like to race in the rain. Is it going to be perfect out of the box? Absolutely not. We don't expect that. Anybody that expects this to be a perfection embodied in a sim on day one, we need to tamp those hopes down a little bit. But I strongly believe we're going to be introducing with our first pass industry-leading rain driving. And like I said, it's going to be frustrating to some people because you're going to have to learn how to do it as they do in the real world. But this is just Rain 1.0. Just like everything else in iRacing, it will continue to evolve. We're going to continue to get better. I mean, that's one of the great things about working in this industry and working with iRacing specifically. You know, our founder, Dave Kemmer, he released the IndyCar racing title in 1989, and he said, we were talking the other day, he's like, I still enjoy making cool stuff. He may not have said stuff, but the people that are developing this product, really, they believe in it. There's a lot of heart, there's a lot of blood that goes into it, and it's a really special thing to be involved in, and you're going to see it with Rain and a bunch of other cool stuff to come very soon.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time here. It's been a really cool panel to be the host of. We're going to be back very, very shortly where we're going to be talking about the F1 Creator Series. So yeah, we'll see you very, very shortly.